Real quick, let's do, we're just going to...
Well, we have the microphone if you want.
Oh, no, we're just going to do it right here.
Okay, good.
That's it. So, this is Dream Warriors 44.
Yeah, there you go. We're competing with the rain in the car.
Competing with the rain. It's been a hell of a day in Philly. You've been busy with work all day, I can tell.
I was rough.
And I've been up since 3 o'clock in the morning. But dude, I had everything of mine cleared out by like 12 o'clock.
Well, I knew your time was off because I called you this morning, excited for Spider-Man, and I'm like, it was like 6:55, and you're like, dude, everything all right? Like, you usually call me earlier. I'm like, earlier? Like wait, Earl, when? Like, when would I call you earlier?
Well, you've called me as early as like 6:30 before. And
sometimes.
I think it depending on your drive and where things are, like you'll, but then again, you don't have as long as a drive as
it's
you
not
used
very
to.
far. It's not
so
far,
maybe that's where that comes from. But look, we're going to see Spider-Man.
Yeah.
We're going to see Spider-Man Homecoming. We're pumped. We're two guys that love Civil War.
It's gonna be great.
We love Iron Man. And I don't know, we're going to get some food too, right?
We are. And I stayed away from the reviews, but the only reviews I know are what you've told me, and you said everything's good so far, so yeah. I'm pumped.
Yeah, it's cleared. And then I got some alcohol too. I made a mummy drink. You know what this is, right?
I don't know.
It's tequila and grape soda.
There you go.
Mark and I created this before we saw Tom Cruise The Mummy.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm going to drink some of that. All right, let's rock and roll.
All right.
Dream Warriors, hit that music.
All right.
No recordings in a 7-day stretch, which is one of the longest stretches we've had here with Dream Warriors. So by now you've heard the intro by John and I on our way to Spider-Man Homecoming, but I wanted to pretty much launch this episode with a little bit of like a personal story when it comes to the character of Spider-Man. And just sitting down, wanting to tell this story, just kind of mulling over some of the deeper notes, like what to kind of highlight, if I should even name names or promote individual or two. So it's one of those types of stories, but it is intertwined, it is linked, it is webbed, pun intended, to the Stan Lee, Steve Ditko creation, Spider-Man. And I don't like, I don't like talking bad on people. I don't like, even though I know sometimes I come off as harsh and elitist, but I think with some positioning that is warranted. But overall, so way back, we're talking 2002 here, 2003, this might have been around maybe like 2000. Sorry, getting my years mixed up. But I tried out for this local comic book in New Jersey. It was one of these comics that was on my hit list to work on because at that point I envisioned that I would have to get into comics on a local level, build up something of a reputation locally, and then like kind of branch out from there. And I was doing that. I'm talking calling, emailing, faxing, AOL instant messaging, like any type of contact info that I could get my hands on. And, that led me down some interesting paths. I believe all for the better. So we'll get into more of that another day. But part of this led to this Jersey Devil comic. Myself and this other local artist was selected by Tony DiGioramo to continue his series. His intent was to do 13 issues because the lead's legend of the Jersey Devil is like 13 children or something like that. And I think we were brought in with issue 11. We only did 11 and 12, and we never got to 13 because we had like a really bad falling out. But this other individual that I met during this was, like someone of even now, like I still look at as a kindred spirit. And, him and I had a falling out, and I just was just stupid within that falling out and thought just hardlined him. But we grew this very deep friendship. I remember us driving around in my bright blue Geo Tracker. We were developing a comic book at the time, making a comic book called Eyes of Asia, and it was really like a max between like Fury Road, Lord of the Rings. There was like Star Wars in there, Dark Crystal. The logo is essentially a riff on Dark Crystal, and it was really like the first time in my life where I was creating with someone and pretty much felt connected to them through that work, through the webbing of that work. Pun intended. Yeah, and so we cranked out this book, and like owning up right now, looking back, this is part of the reason why I have a no BS trigger when it comes to work and production. And I would believe my partner in that, his name was Ken Hazer. He's still drawing comics today, which is amazing. Still fighting the good fight. And him and I really just went separate paths, as separate as you could imagine. I jumped into the corporate world because I felt a need. I felt a requirement to develop a corporate acumen from a ground level up, and I jumped into that. I'm not sure what he's doing day job wise, but he's continued to draw, and he's with a book now, and I think did maybe like a Kickstarter or something similar. So anyway, Ken and I made we had a pact. We made a pact, which was we were going to complete this Eyes of Asia comic book, pull in whoever we could to work on it. At this point, we pulled in this guy named Buzz, who's I'm sorry. Let me take this real quick. Okay, so sorry about that. That was John calling me with his ETA. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up real quick. I'm also anticipating a little bit of a shorter episode because the Spider-Man movie has it just has so much hype, and it's a little bit weird just gushing over a good movie sometimes. I think there's always more fun in a level of like analysis and you get the best analysis to faults as opposed to greatness. It's really hard to dissect why something's great. You learn more. You come from more when you see something that can be corrected. But no, so getting to this story, I'm not exactly sure where I left off now. It really totally lost my train of thought. But I made myself a little bit of iced coffee too, real quick. I have a sip of that. Yeah, so Ken and I, there was like this little bit of a talent search in Jersey Devil. Might have been issue 8 or 9. Him and I were both selected by issue 11. I was asked to ink him. And I said, heck yes. It was like one of those opportunities, like one of those things I hoped for, I planned for. I thought it coming to fruition was a part of like my path to comic book greatness, and it was kind of awesome. I still remember getting the phone call from Tony DiGilermo. Asking me to work with him. So at that point, I went to his house, met him. I think my father drove me because I was so bad with directions and I wasn't really sure where he was. And my father was like this encyclopedia when it comes to like road maps, still is. So that's where I met Ken. So through the course of working on the book, Ken and I got really close. We eventually got frustrated with working on Jersey Devil. We just didn't like the directions, the way it was run. We both thought that Tony was like bossy and like sometimes not like a good boss. Looking back, I really don't think we were wrong with some of our assessment. How we handled it, were we? I believe so. I think we should have stayed with him to complete that issue 13. I really do. But like this was an interesting few years in my life because looking back, there were just like bad, not so much decisions I don't stand by, but just bad judgment calls. Kind of really not taking the higher ground from time to time, and not realizing that life is long and there's lots of choices, and even some choices are hard to take back. So Kane and I, we were sitting down. We were maybe at the Hamilton Mall, and I was sketching on index cards, and I came up with this Eyes of Asia comic book idea. And I'll get more into that. I would like to do a peak comic book background episode, maybe for one of our upcoming Howl at the Moon Dream Warrior episodes. Yes, starting this coming week, I'm going to be doing late night Dream Warriors. So we're going to have morning shows. We're going to have morning with News and Coffee with Pete. Sometimes with a guest. There might be a guest in the mornings. Whoever's hanging around at night will be a part of the the late night show, which I'm calling Howl at the Moon. And then we'll have our standard Dream Warriors, which will just be me with a guest, just rocking and rolling, doing what we always do. All of these will be numbers sequentially added to the RSS feed in the same fashion. So it's going to be really tough to miss anything. And I don't know about you, but there's a very loud bird. I don't know if the microphone is picking it up, but we've had so much rain in Philly the last day that even mid afternoon the birds are out and about looking for worms and whatever else they can get. But yeah, so the reason why I'm getting into this story before seeing Homecoming, very simple. Like Ken and I eventually had a falling out, and I don't know how he feels about it because we were like really in different circles. Like I always felt guilty about it. Kind of always wanted that friendship back. Like there's been nights that I had like dreams where we patched things up, and like really kind of thought it was like reality, like thought it really happened. And man, like it's just funny how your head screws with you sometimes. So the reason why Spider-Man is important is that it was Ken's favorite character. He always said he wanted to draw and work on Spider-Man since he was a young boy, since he was a young dude. And him and I made a pact. I remember this very clearly. We made a pact not to stop until we were both working on Spider-Man to some capacity at the same time. I believe that the scenario was him drawing and me inking, but doing my what I would call like super inks, or what's kind of called embellishing, which is bringing in like additional line, texture, mood into every single panel that Ken didn't set up. Ken always had a rough style, though. Good artist, but rough. Just rough style. Never lent itself to mainstream comics. But Spider-Man, I think even at the time, in like the early 2000s, there was a run of Marvel books, like a brand called Marvel Age, or might have been Marvel First. And they were retellings. Actually, the Spider-Man one was drawn by Mark Brooks, and look those up because it was kind of like the classic stories just updated with new artwork and new writing, and I just think that's something they should always recycle. They should always have projects like that to some capacity. But yeah, so Spider-Man is always a character that is multiple interpretations on multiple times, and people really just love Spider-Man. So it was important. It was I had a couple minutes. I wanted to sit down and just really kind of put in like a different story, like to how a character can mean something to people. And what Spider-Man means to me is really kind of like it's almost like a failed dream. It's a lost opportunity. It's a surrendering, and it just stinks. I know Ken's working on other books, but it's like there's a continental divide between Ken doing what he's doing and getting into the house of ideas, which I still refer to Marvel as that. I think still Marvel at its worst is far better than DC at its best. Period. Maybe I take that back. I think Marvel now is just confusing as hell. But no, and this thing, is it's important. It's important not to. I kind of talk about this. It's important to, when you have dreams, when you have ideas, to really to see them through and stick with them, and you find a way, like you force them to become a reality. I never had much of a comic book dream other than drawing comics. I really did. I never had like a focal creation that I wanted published by Image Comics. I've always been scatterbrained, probably one of my faults. I never really wanted to draw Justice League or Fantastic Four. I think those characters are kind of why do I want to draw Wolverine? Like, what can I add to this? So many people have already drawn them. Let me give you something new. Let me give you something different. Let me maybe give you the next Wolverine IP. That's always been my direction. I feel like that's my mission almost. Yeah, and you know what? I've been spending 2017 getting back to the drawing board, just getting into the flow of cranking out artwork. But yeah, so let's. Sometimes things happen in life that take dreams and packs away. And the reason why this is important is because, we made a promise to one another. And I really, even now, even to family members and ex-girlfriends and people I work with, and even friends that became failed business partners. I made a pact to them. Most of those relationships erode when I stick to my word and hold someone to theirs. I just don't get it. But that's what Spider-Man is. So anyway, I gotta get going. John's gonna come pick me up. That's a fun little story for you, little additional background, and we'll get more. We'll get more into Pete's comic book background, and we'll do that some other time. But hey, signing off now, and I guess you'll hear from us. You'll hear from John and I.
Camden.
Like driving back home. Okay.
You can't say it like that. Oh, yeah. We're FYI, we're live. Yeah, we're live. We're recording. We are driving. In the car. Still driving through wet road conditions. Yeah. Well, we're going towards Camden. We're good. I don't think we have to worry about the roads. Oh, the two of us. All right, give me your thoughts. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Yeah, I really, I'm shocked to how well it played. I liked it. I love just about everything.
I thought it was very entertaining. More entertaining than I thought it was going to be, although I'd heard good news. And I don't know. I'm overly happy with it.
Yeah, I just, again, it's easier to go towards the negative. My one criticism for this, which is almost the same as my same criticism for Civil War, which is it's hard to know the context of this movie and what some of the weight is without knowing about the other Marvel movies. Like, Civil War begins with the Winter Soldier, and if you don't know who Winter Soldier is, you're, like, explaining things to someone.
Yes.
Frame one, scene one.
Yep.
With this, you would have to know about the Avengers movie. You would have to have seen Civil War before you even get into the story.
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
Like, the first, 15 minutes
you're right.
is basically callbacks. But, dude, I think it's so cool what they're doing with the alien technology, that it's, still scattered all over. There's, a black market for the alien technology that opens up so many doors. It seems like they set up some stuff post Ragnarok, post Infinity War, Cap's prototype shield, which is oh man.
I liked the beginning, how they tied in, like you said, the older movies, but I loved how they tied in Civil War with basically with him GoProing it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's that was unexpected. It was frenetic. It was funny. It got you into the mood. There's just so much that was well done with this. I think this is one of the more complex Spider-Man villains in all the movies.
Definitely.
Okay. I would put and I'm not comparing Michael Keaton to other Marvel villains, but I'm just saying for Spider-Man, he's right there with Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Tortured soul, misguided, misunderstood. Bad thing happened. They tried to make something good out of it, and I thought Michael Keaton was probably one of the better even Marvel villains. I thought it was great. I thought the high school stuff was great. The way we wrapped it up with they did a callback to the first Iron Man.
They did.
Okay, where he goes, "I am Iron Man," and boom, cut the credits. So there's no secret identity. There's really no secret identity in the House of Parker with this one. I love that they broke that barrier. Because I do feel like this is it's definitely a different Spider-Man. One that we never seen in the comics, never seen in any other movie. This version of this character is strictly to these movies. And he's set up to complement these movies. He's make it right up here. He's not even 100% solo character. He is a part of a ensemble. But
I thought I was a little bit skeptical going in the way that this kid. I'm like, all right, I want to see how he portrays him. And I had mentioned to you in the theater before that I had heard before people saw the movie that they were worried this is going to be sort of a third origin reboot.
Yeah, another
right. And I thought the same thing. I'm like, I don't need to see that again. But
which I do think that turned a lot of people away.
We'll see this weekend. We'll see what the numbers are this weekend.
But the theater was packed.
It was packed.
The theater was
for
packed.
Thursday night. We go to a lot of Thursday nights.
Thursday night, 7 o'clock, yeah.
And it was packed.
But, yeah.
So I thought they did a great job of not rehashing the same stuff.
I love the suit. Again, just making it interesting, making it better. They did stuff in this movie that none in the comic ever hit. So, his relationship with Tony Stark, completely original to the Marvel movies.
Yep.
The suit, I love the design for his Avenger suit.
That was
how with the gold.
Yeah.
Dude, how cool
Well, like it was a perfect blend of this is like the Stark suit, right? Like not the Avenger suit, just the regular suit that you see the advanced technology. It was nice.
And the funny thing is, though, I like that they move the Avengers forward now.
Yeah.
So like
they're establishing that now.
Yeah. So now the Avengers are their complete separate entity now, outside of Shield, because Shield got taken down. They are outside of Captain America. They are like a Stark-driven entity, and they're almost like upgraded now, power-wise, knowing what they can do with the alien technology and what they're doing with that. And it really it makes the next moves interesting. This is another 0.5 movie.
Yeah,
it's technically it's kind of like a sequel to Civil War. It's an extension of the Avengers. It's more Tony Stark as a character. We have a resolution with him and Pepper Potts.
We do.
Cause
they did.
They were separated.
Yeah.
I think she was in hiding for. Wow.
That came out of nowhere.
I didn't see that coming at all. I saw her and I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. So, and then the post-credit scenes, nothing crazy. The very last one is probably the funniest one.
I thought that running joke throughout the movie was great.
Yeah, just Captain America's PSAs for schools.
PSAs for everything.
You're in detention. It's not cool.
Gym class.
Yeah. Speaking of being cool, I know a lot about that. I was frozen in a block of ice
65 years.
for 65 years.
That was great.
Yeah. No, but really, I think this is a movie to be watched again. Anyone that downgrades the effort, I think this is a writer's movie. It's very well written, very well constructed. The director has a movie on Netflix called Clown.
Okay.
He only directed 2 movies. He did Clown and he did Cop Car with Kevin Bacon.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Clown is on Netflix. This is I just watched it the other night. It's one of the coolest horror genre movies. Cool original idea movies.
Okay.
That falls into the horror movie conventions. You have the character that knows everything. That one guy that kind of has the book.
Yeah.
Okay. However, this guy can make a movie. This guy can put together tension, and I kind of had a feeling this was coming based on how simple Clown was, how fun and original of an idea that movie had, and even Clown sets up this huge potential horror franchise, which I think they should just continue. So that's it's worth it. It's worth checking it out.
Okay.
But either way, I would recommend this. I'll put this at the top of my Marvel movies. This is the 3rd best Spider-Man movie, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because it's hard to beat the Tobey Maguires.
Right. Yeah.
It really is.
I agree.
I think the Tobey Maguires are really Spider-Man.
Yes.
This is obviously not. They're not even going by.
This is more almost cartoony, just a different attitude. Yeah, in general, I don't know. It's a different character completely.
It's just fun. But this is definitely my 3rd one. Even though I'm also a fan of the Amazing Spider-Man. I like that first Andrew Garfield one.
So you said put it at the top of your Marvel movies.
this.
Where?
I just think this is the watchability, just what I liked. For me, this goes up with Guardians.
You put it above Guardians.
Captain America, Iron Man. Yeah, it's they're all kind of those ones are grouped together.
Right. Okay.
I all 3 Captain Americas are at the top.
Okay.
This is definitely up there. And it's not just because it's Spider-Man. I love that the arc that he had to earn his stripes.
Yes.
there was pain, there was blood, there was like doubt.
Yeah, you saw that coming. That's sort of like he's like kind of rogue for a while. He picks it, they make him, they sort of take away his ability to do it, and he has to prove to them he can do it.
Yeah. And real quick, the pivotal scene in this movie was when he was buried, which was a callback to the John Romita paneling. Okay. Right. And I want to say that was I forget what issue. I want to say it was issue 68, like 67 or 68.
Okay.
Where they basically ripped a scene from one of the comics, and like that was like the hero has arisen moment. There's few superhero movies that have a moment like that where like the hero arrives, and dude, they got the wit together. They got him being a kid. They got him his teenage angst, his juggling everything. The reason why this movie is important is because this is a totally new version of Peter Parker. We've never seen this one before, and they knew what they were doing. They really did. They have a great angle. But yeah, all right. Well, we'll sign off.
We're good.
Any last words?
No, I mean that's good for now. Get back on soon.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna have you back on too for a solo episode.
Yeah.
I think we're going to discuss how the NBA is no different than WWE with predetermined outcomes. Thank you, Tim Dalton.
I love